So welcome back. It's one of those nights in Yorkshire. The rain is pouring down. The pitch is looking okay at the moment, but I suspect it's going to cut up as the night goes on. Dewsbury against Featherstone Rovers is our offering for you here tonight, and they're brave girls, aren't they? Not exactly dressed for the night, but still providing lots of enthusiasm. Well done, girls. And we're going to see our two teams coming out in just a second. As we've mentioned, a lot of issues to discuss tonight throughout the night. One of those is dual registration. We heard there from Glenn Morris and Brian Noble. From a coach's point of view, how do you sell to your players who are there week in, week out, training week in, week out? How do you sell dual registration when a so-called bigger name comes in and takes your place?
Yeah, it's a tough call because Glenn Morrison particularly talked about his tight unit and what his aspirations are for the dual registration people coming in. I think we've got two tonight, James Donaldson and Adam O'Brien off the bench for Dewsbury. It is a hard sell. I've spoken to 3 or 4 coaches in this division who have knocked back the possibility of playing even some Super League Grand Final players up at Whitehaven. Dave Woods didn't take somebody on last week, so it's a tough one. It's going to need a strong unit to justify that, and the long-term aspirations that Darryl Powell spoke about on the same issue.
Well, we're going to have a minute's silence before we start here tonight in memory of Sam Hill, who died at the age of 86 last Sunday, a long-serving supporter and a really hard-working committee member for many years as well. His son Chris is the club's current hitman. Seems to have been a terrible day last Sunday, one way or another, and Sam passed away last Sunday at the age of 86. So the whole stadium is being brought to attention right now. Thierry Alibert will blow his whistle, and here's a minute's silence. Observed, as you would expect. A lot of people here will remember Sam with a great deal of affection and respect, so a lot of people very sad at his passing. About to get this match underway. As you saw, Thierry Alibert is our referee tonight. We're normally used to seeing operating in Super League, and of course, as ever, we'll be hearing from our video referee. No Ian this week. He's been on duty in France, so we're very pleased to say Steve Ganson will be joining us in the truck if and when a video decision is required. And very remiss of us not to say already, welcome to the Kingston Press Championship. New sponsors this week, and this is the very first televised game with that new sponsorship in place. Very fine cider makers. I don't think it's a night for cider right here at the moment, but later in the season I'm sure we'll be enjoying their wares. So here we go, underway. Featherstone, the first side to get their hands on the ball. A little bit of mistake by Johnny Hepworth, but he has caught it safely enough in the end, and they can bring it, drive it back with the wind and the rain at their backs as they bring it forward. Dewsbury doing some defending here. Brian Noble, early stages.
I think I'm going to bring the dreaded hill in as well. They've got the wind, they've got the rain behind their backs, and a slope going down towards the bottom end, the famous slope here. They'll need to use that. I'd be tempted, really tempted, to kick early and get the ball down the other end and see how much of a play the error count might be.
Was Dewsbury with that in their faces at the moment. Here comes the kick, the boot from Liam Finn. Little skidding, awkward ball, which James Craven will trap safely enough in the end. The chase is decent as well, and Dewsbury are held up 30 metres away from their own line. Just a little line, by the way, on Liam Finn. If he scores tonight, it'll be his 48th consecutive game in which he's scored. And it's a run that starts on this ground. Some time ago, as you'd imagine, the 29th of May 2011, a 38-18 win here for Featherstone. He scored that day, and he's scored in every single game since, 47 games. So that's a proud record he'll be hoping to continue here tonight.
That's prolific, isn't it? Really proud record.
goal kicker, but of course he scores a lot of tries as well. And here's a win for the defence because Steve Nash has spilt the possession. So head and feet for Featherstone.
Yeah, I think it was Aaron Brown got tied up by one of the Featherstone front rowers, and there we see our first indication of how slippery this ball is going to be in these conditions.
Liam Finn to feed. Comes to Worthington on this left-hand side. Little push by him, but Dewsbury defenders are across there, and look how much he's slid. They almost slid him out of play. And that tells you what you need to know about the surface and the conditions here tonight. This is Briggs now.
Keep away from the sidelines. Coaches will be screaming that message out there. Keep away from the sidelines.
Here's Kay.
I was
from
impressed
dummy
with
half. It's Lamont Bryan who will drive it in. Kay again. Featherstone edging their way closer here. In by the big man Matt James, signing from Wakefield in the off-season. He's here for good as well. They don't do dual reg at Featherstone. Little ball on the inside, but the slip makes it easier for that Dewsbury defence to make sure the tackle's a good one. Kay at dummy half again. They're going to go down that little blind side. A little chip in by Andy Kane into the in-goal area. All kinds of problems for the Dewsbury defence. They just about get away with it. And they'll come out with a dropout underneath their own sticks.
Well, it's all Craven could do, and it's the tactics are quite clear there. Get to the right end of the field from Featherstone, and if you need be, build pressure, roll the ball in there. I think it was Kane with a nice little deft touch on his kick. Craven no opportunity other than to run the ball out.
Well, we've gone, what is it, Liam Finn, 47 consecutive matches. That's impressive, but we've gone now 2 minutes and 52 seconds without hearing from Andrew Henderson. That's impressive too. Endo.
That is impressive, Dave.
Give us a word.
No, fantastic. No, good start here from Featherstone. A great carry there from Lockwood as he gets over the top of the young man there in the headgear. But again, like you said, good pressure build early here from Featherstone. They've managed to win the arm wrestle battle so far. We'll see what they can do now in this attacking set.
Here's Kay, little step back on the inside again from James, I think that is. It's picked up by Kay again, worked to that right-hand side, helped along its way by Finn. Disappearing into that corner, the Dewsbury defenders are there to submerge them, to make sure there's nothing on offer. Kay again, brings it back. Here's Finn once more. Little ball popped up by him. Good defending, in the mud.
Good tackle.
Up goes the arms from Thierry Alibert to say the next one is the last. Kay again, throws it wide right. Little chip dangled in by Kane once more. It's bobbling all over the place. Dewsbury come up with it, and they will get possession and a chance to bring it free. I think it was Morton, was it, on that far side?
Yeah, very brave from the Dewsbury player. It was Morton. He got down on the ball, and Mr. Alibert with his play on.
You like Mr. Alibert, don't you?
I like him a lot. Play on.
Here come Dewsbury with the hard yards to do here. Up the hill, into the teeth of the gale, the wind and the rain lashing in their faces in this first half.
This is awesome. This is rugby league at its best.
It's the old-fashioned rugby league night tonight, isn't it?
Played by modern gladiators, honestly. There's so much admiration for these blokes going out there, but I do remember the weather conditions really well, just like this.
Well, you played a lot at Odsall, and that had its own little microclimate, didn't it? It was usually a lot worse there than it was anywhere else. Saxton, who's still got a clean shirt, first touch for him tonight. Won't be long before that's mudded. And down he goes. The tackle is a good one. Helliwell is the man at dummy half, the other winger. Held up. Saxton again. He's going to have another little go here.
Good shot.
Tackle.
Nice.
Take that, winger. If you're going to come in and try some of that fancy footwork, we'll give you a big hit. Little carry by Finn again. He wanted the offload. It didn't come, but it might still.
Play on.
It has been dropped by Lamont Bryan and picked up by Dewsbury again. And they'll be happy with that.
They will. I think they've done really well at the start of this game, Dewsbury. Featherstone are probing and testing them out, and they look quite solid. They handle the kick on the floor, and they're handling the middle ruck. You know, even though Lockwood and James are making inroads in there, they're certainly not breaking their line.
Well, the referee just making sure the Featherstone players are back where they need to be. Decent hands over that far side. She's going to see Dewsbury just hanging on to possession, just a couple of steps in. Morton gets up and plays the ball. Here comes Craven into that line and running it hard and carrying Dewsbury inside the Featherstone half here. And they've still got tackles in the bag as well, so there's still an opportunity. Michaeli Azu, well held by 2-3 Featherstone defenders, got a hold and pushed him back a yard or two. This is Ryan Wright throwing it back. The kick just bounces Spavin, and it's going to be picked up by Worthington with a chance to show some pace. 3 men are after him, including Aaron Brown, who's across to make the tackle. The former Leeds youngster, and an important one as well. Finn now picks up from dummy half. Here comes Briggs, stepping onto it. Good, solid defending from Dewsbury again. Quickly into it, Hepworth. Down this left flank. Well, you can see how close the Dewsbury line is there. The defenders are back on it. They're just under 10 metres. Hepworth picks it up again. This now is Montbryan, who tries to push his way through, urging and surging, but Dewsbury hands are hanging on. Kay once more. Now it's Finn. The pass, the kick, the chance. Has he got the touchdown? Well, Thierry Alibert saw enough doubt there. Was it Hardman who went through? Whoever. He's not sure whether he got the touchdown or not. So we're going to have our first video referee of the night and our first chance to hear from Steve Ganson, who's had a busy weekend and he's got more work to do. Steve, it's over to you.
Okay with that? Yeah. Have you anything from wide on? From the touchline side, preferably. Yeah, go to grounding. To the grounding, please. Have you anything front on? From behind the post at all? Or is that all you've got? Okay, this'll do. Can't see it, the camera. Okay, this is the one we've got then.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's a try.
Okay.
Try confirmed by Steve Ganson. The finger pointed by Thierry Alibert. Andy Kane at the scorer. His 98th Featherstone try. He creeps ever closer to a landmark. And a chance for Finn to add the 2 as well here to continue his impressive try-scoring, point-scoring record. And it's a very good start from Featherstone. Here is Finn. Normally not too much of a problem. Tonight, with the way it is, maybe it is a bit of a problem. The 2 touch judges wave their flags down. So 4-0 it stays.
He'll have to wait for his points, but this is straight from the training ground. Great touch from Finn and a great chase from Andy Kane to finish it off. Craven took a punt on letting the ball going out and paid the price. And that's on the back of 2 kicks, really. A poor kick from Dewsbury when they didn't play their hard. They've done really well and soaked all that pressure. Gave Featherstone field position, and they're prepared to play the percentage. Featherstone a great try.
Here's the restart. It's the awkward bounce. Safety first from Featherstone here. Dewsbury looking to force a mistake. Carl Price in amongst the defenders there. Here's Lamont Bryan. Push and a surge by him, but Lebanon pushing him back. The referee shouted hell, so they'll have to stop. Lamont Bryan's not happy with that. Oh, it's a juggle and it's lost. Well, the referee said it went backwards. The referee said it went backwards and play on.
Play on.
So Featherstone get away with it. What do you reckon, fellas?
Oh, that's harsh. That's really harsh on Dewsbury there. And they needed that really, Dave, because they haven't had much field position in this game so far. Featherstone have dominated the territory. They could have done with that.
Well, here's a kick early from Finn.
It's a great kick.
What a kick.
Helped by the conditions. So Craven has to bring it back. And he's met in the first place by Worthington. Dewsbury start from here. Still getting their forwards back behind the ball. Tiring. Energy-sapping moments on the offload. Might have been a little ill-advised, but the referee says penalty anyway, or...
No, he's called,
he said held. He said held. Yep. Said held, then he tried offloading, so it's that rule that we had this year, but that has been spilled. And it's been lost again. Nash with the initial knock-on. And don't forget, that is the new rule this year, that the team who are knocked on against, if you like, can have a little bit of an advantage, can kick the ball to try and play it, and if there is no advantage, they come back to the original knock-on, which is there.
I think was it Lockwood that came in over the top? It was a fair hit.
Yeah, it was a good shot from Lockwood there.
If you're prepared to invest in hitting on the ball or underneath the ball where they're carrying it, you're going to produce dividends tonight.
Again, further opportunity now for Featherstone to build more pressure on this Dewsbury line.
Here's Hepworth. Big toss to win tonight, wasn't it? I'm not sure if Featherstone did win it and elected to go downhill, but you would have thought that would have been the wise thing to do. Downhill with the wind and rain behind you and set a platform, which they're attempting to do here. Lamont Bryan.
He's looked strong, hasn't he, Lamont Bryan, at the start of this game? Really strong.
London boy, of course, Lamont Bryan. And a penalty. Too much messing around.
What do you do here, Bryant? Play on.
Play on.
Well, they're having a think. They're having a tap. Kay will take it. Here comes Lockwood with the initial drive. Kay's up there again at dummy half, looking right and left, wants to know what his options are. And in this time, it's Lockwood who's guilty of overdoing the business after the tackle had been made, and a very cheap penalty to give away.
It's a shame. He got a little bit overzealous there, didn't he? Oh, another error.
Oh, they've lost it. They try to drive it away rather than kick it because of the wind, and they've lost it. So they're back to where they were. Here's Kay. Oh, good handed on. But
Play on, is it?
It's all over the place.
Offside, Dave.
Offside.
Offside against Dewsbury.
It's all going on. We've got knock-ons either way, offsides.
Too quickly up from that goal line, the Dewsbury defenders. So that's why the penalty's been given. But here's the initial drive. From that penalty, they try to run it away rather than kick it away. Lost it.
It was a good tackle from Kay, wasn't it? On the ball again. Lower your target area today. Lower your target. Get underneath the ball. You'll get the dividends.
So Liam Finn has elected to go for goal right in front of the sticks.
I reckon he might get his points now, Dave.
Yeah. I think they'll have seen the amount of handling, the ball handling errors that are going on. Let's get to while we're here.
Absolutely.
And Liam Finn with a 2 that takes his match scoring record to 48 consecutive matches. To remind you, a record that began here in May 2011 continues here on a very different kind of a night in February 2013.
I was thinking about Michaeli Zoo in all of this and whether they're playing this kind of weather in Papua New Guinea.
Well, they play in this kind of weather in Hull and in Halifax, and that's where he's been playing for the last few years, so I think he'll be used to it by now, won't he?
He's a fair chance, isn't he?
Here comes the restart.
But do you think at the back of his mind he was maybe thinking, I wish I was in Goroka or Mount Hagen?
I'm sure he's got his full concentration on what's happening here tonight.
Good carry.
I had the great privilege of sitting with the Papua New Guinean High Commissioner at a dinner in the House of Lords the other week. And he's really excited about the World Cup, as we all are, but he was very excited about the upcoming World Cup. It is the national sport in Papua New Guinea, isn't it, rugby league?
It is indeed.
That's a kick taken by Craven, who runs it back, and decent chase by Featherstone again. Shout of hell from the referee, so the dragging and the pulling has to stop there.
Somebody's offside here.
Offside.
I was just about to say they need a penalty or something here, Dewsbury, just to gain some field position. They're just struggling a little bit, aren't they? They've defended a lot this first stanza.
Scott Spabin with a chance to find touch.
This is the first time in Featherstone's half of the ball, would it be?
I think so, with a full set of 6 anyway.
Not had many opportunities, have they, to have a go? Another ball on the pitch, which has just been hammered away. Here's Wright. And a dummy half, a little dummy sold, but not bought. Right, it comes again.
Nice.
This is a really good run from Ryan Hepworth, though. Has support. Good hands to Aaron Brown. What a fabulous try that was. Ryan Hepworth ripping a hole in that Featherstone defence. And Aaron Brown was on his shoulder, ready to pounce again. His 3rd try of the new season, Aaron Brown. His 1st of the night. And Dewsbury are up and running here.
Well, they've got something in the tank in the Arsenal in the right part of the field. It's a great bit. Poor effort from a couple of Featherstone defenders. He finds Brown on his outside. What a super finish and what a super try. The first time they've made any kind of impression in this half. The first time they've had the ball. Play 3. It really is a strong run, isn't it?
And like you said at the start of the call, Brian, you know, you mentioned about teams trying to play football. You know, there they had a little bit of shape there. Obviously, just a little play out the back there to Brown. And obviously the short lead option, another man out the back. He elected to hit short. Hepworth obviously nice late in line there, late unders line. Obviously bumps off Lamont Bryan on the way through there, but again, playing a little bit of football. First opportunity for Dewsbury, and again, posting points on the board. Nice try, good backing up, good support play there for Brown too, because he's the man that made the initial pass to Hepworth, managed to scoop around and back him up on the outside there. So good effort there from the Dewsbury Rams in these sort of conditions. Fantastic.
You might just have heard the roar of "Come on, Happy" there from Arman on our right.
Well, former Sheffield player, played with
Hepster,
Big Hepster.
You'd have followed him a time or two, wouldn't you? In a similar condition, similar situation.
Yeah.
Here comes Morton with the attempted goal. He has just put it in. For a moment, it looked as though it was going to hit the post, but it just curled in, and it's 6 points apiece.
A bit of reverse swing on that,
yeah.
wasn't there? Jimmy Anderson, there's the play out the back, and this is where you've got to keep playing, but you've got to say that's all in Hepworth's hips. He burst through 2 tackles and round on his outside to finish it off. Super play.
It's a big debate, just looking at that goal kick there, as we saw. There's a big debate in football, it seems, every single season about the football, the flight of the football. But there's a big debate this year about this rugby league ball that we're playing with. I know, Andrew, a lot of players are concerned about it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are at the moment. I think a lot of players' concern is the flight of the ball when they pass. I think there's no issues with kicking the football. I think speaking to a lot of players, they're happy with kicking the ball, but passing the ball seems to be, you know, not as fluent as they'd like, and also the handling, especially in the wet conditions, isn't as good. High shot there, Dave. Penalty for Dewsbury.
Another leg up. Is the ball lighter, Hendo?
I think it possibly is. It certainly has a lot more movement in the air anyway, so it's certainly not as comfortable to pass as the students were from last season.
Sounds like an early call there from Hendo, Dave, when we see him on television again. And his passing abilities.
That's why he can't pass properly this season. Last season,
I'll get the excuses in early, boys.
Here comes Ryan Wright, waiting at dummy half patiently.
Another penalty.
Ball stolen after the tackle was completed. So a penalty here for Dewsbury.
Well, how the momentum swings, Dave. You know, it was all Dewsbury defending their own line early on. Featherstone obviously enjoying the field position due to Dewsbury making a lot of handling errors. And now we see Featherstone conceding back-to-back penalties and again gifting Dewsbury the field position.
Well, Boyd, by that try inspired by Hepworth and finished by Brown just a moment ago, Dewsbury find themselves again with a full set inside their opponent's half. What can they do with it? Can Featherstone find some real grit and determination to keep them out, spaving down that blind side? Using a couple of players as foils, but not fooling that defence. Here comes the aforementioned Michaeli Azu, a handful on any night. Wright wants it played, now gets it, throws it high. Brown brings it down, slides it through, picks it up again. Got a ping and a pong off a couple of Featherstone players.
Is that not back to one?
Well, I think it was hit the man rather than the man playing the ball, wasn't it? Wright again. Not low enough. Here comes Brown, throwing it left. It's going to be a little kick through by Spavin, a high one, but there were plenty of Featherstone players there to catch it and defuse the situation.
It's not really a pun, but it was a damp squib of an end to that set, wasn't it? You know, they had the exciting ricochet near the post. Get that in there.
Great effort, Donaldson. What about the ferocity of that shot? Line speed, great technique. It hits him square on.
Let's have a look.
Ball.
Get that into you.
Fantastic shot there, Donaldson. Azu over the top.
Boom.
Double whammy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Great
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's why we love this game, isn't it?
Yeah. Doesn't that inspire you? You know, doesn't that inspire a team when that happens? Like you said, it was a poor end of the set previously from Dewsbury. They didn't have an onside chase with the Spavin kick. And they come up with that on the next play. Fantastic stuff.
He's one of the many Cumbrians knocking around the game, isn't he, James Donaldson? Coming back from a couple of really bad injuries at Bradford, and he'll enjoy this night tonight, looking to prove himself again. Dewsbury getting close. Very close. Here's Wright at dummy half. Throws it back, Michaeli Azu, not really in his stride, but when has that ever stopped him from trying to get through defenders? Didn't have the momentum to make a real impact. Wright waits again. Back it comes to Aaron Brown. All the way back to Craven, the fullback. Here comes Carl Price. Price shrugging them off. He's a big man. The two suddenly gather around him. The Lilliputians around Gulliver, dragging him down. Forward they come again. Hepworth.
He's lost it.
Ball's gone to ground. I don't think anyone spotted it in Dewsbury colours. Referee anyway says it was a knock-on, and it will be Featherstone's head and feet at the scrum. Good defending, Featherstone.
Yeah, he loses it in the contact there, Hepworth, as he gets driven back. And as you pointed out there, Dave, good defence from Featherstone there. And they've been under pressure now for a few sets. It was some good line speed there. They got up hard off their line, got out the back. They shut down Price pretty quickly, and they got on Hepworth on the next play and force the error.
20 minutes played. That's gone quick, hasn't it? It's been a good game, really good game.
In these conditions, it's a
Another lost ball.
He's lost it again. Here's Michael Yazoo picking up. Left they go, taken on by Scott Hale.
You know,
Defenders swarming around him.
I think we're quicker getting to the point where get it to that end of the field and stay there, boys.
Nash. He was at Lee last year, wasn't he, Steve Nash?
Big boy.
On loan from Cass this year. Picked up and thrown left by Wright. Here's Scott Hale again, trying to twist his way over.
Ooh,
well, I think he might have got over, has he?
Gonna go video ref.
The only question is, did he get it down? So Thierry Alibert asked the question again. Has Scott Hale scored here? And Steve Ganson will provide us with the answer. Steve.
Okay, just need position. Have you anything from front on or? Yeah, this one should be all right. Okay. Yeah. In contact. Yeah, that's a try.
Try is confirmed by Steve Ganson, and again Thierry Olibert points that finger, and you have to say, guys, what a characterful response this has been by Dewsbury. Having gone behind, having been under the cosh, they're bossing the game just at the moment.
They are in this last 10 minutes, and Scott Hale there, he wriggled and he writhed and he kept his legs driving and he got low, he got his hips out. Here we see the error from the Featherstone players. He's been tapped the ball, bit unlucky there, maybe a hand on by the Dewsbury, but that's play on. Scott Hale gets his opportunity here, and he wasn't going to be stopped. He picks out the little man Kane there, gets himself twisted and gets himself around, and more importantly gets the ball down.
Needed scoring, needed determination. Plenty of determination shown. So Dale Morton with a chance to add the two here. Okay. A kick which on a normal night when we're playing in April and May and June, July and August and September, all those summer nights, Thursday, summer, we're looking forward to that, aren't we? It would be easy, but on a night like this, it's just a little more difficult, but he's still put it over. 2 out of 2 for Dale Morton tonight, and 12 points to 6. Dewsbury lead.
Here we see Hale's efforts. Picked out Andy Kane, not the biggest of blokes, and it's difficult to stop somebody from there. Needed a bit of help there, Kane.
Didn't have the best of it last year against Featherstone Dewsbury. They lost all 3 games they played against them in the Northern Rail Cup, losing 38-6 at Fev. They lost the game here in the Championship 24-12, and then went down 60 points to 18 at the Big Fella Stadium towards the end of the season. Just missed out on the playoffs as well, didn't they, Dewsbury last year? But they're very much making their mark here tonight for a place in the top 8 this year by giving the team, the favourites, many people's favourites in the Championship this year, a real battle so far. But we have only played 23 minutes, there or thereabouts. Here's Wright, that dummy half. In come those clattering tackles again to make sure that Nash is not going too far forward. Wright stand waits. This is Carl Price who's going to put boot to ball. That's a big boot as well, isn't it? Decent kick by him.
Good kick into the wind.
Hepworth turns and scurries. And the first man in there is Ryan Wright to make the tackle. Carl Price, discuss. He could have been anything, couldn't he, Carl Price?
Well, he's not been a failure, has he? If you look at his try-scoring record when he's played in the Super League, he had a lot of bad luck at Gloucester when he was there, when he went to the Union as a big keynote signing, and He's probably looking for a way back into the highest level, but he's one big unit, isn't he?
What's going on here?
Oh, hang on a second.
Thierry Libert has just pointed at one of the Featherstone players for accidental offside, I think he's given.
Yes.
Because he's given head and feet to Dewsbury.
I think the ball touched him on the way through and he was offside.
There's a few disgruntled Featherstone fans I can hear chirping up behind me. Not happy with that decision, but
hit a Featherstone player on the way through, was in front.
I think that was a fair call.
It's one of those things, not a penalty because it was only an accident, but still head and feet to the opposition, which gives them a real advantage. Donaldson, James Donaldson, the first man to drive it in. Here's Wright at dummy half. Now, big
carry.
Force forward by Tom Lillicrop, who's relatively fresh to the scene. Wright again. Brown. This is Hale. Try score, of course, not that long ago. Featherstone got it all on here because it's a really enthusiastic challenge they're being provided with from this Dewsbury side just at the moment. O'Brien also on from the bench, helping it away from dummy half. Featherstone again making decent progress here. O'Brien on dual registration from Bradford stands and waits, moves it left. The attempted kick through from Spavin hits a Featherstone leg, and now they have to bring it away. A chance to bring it away.
Just need to be a little bit better with those end of sets, don't they, Dewsbury? They're playing some nice rugby league football, but just their last play options have just let them down a little bit so far.
I agree. I think we've seen a couple of ricochet kicks. They're not. The play before was the time to kick because the fullback was slightly out of position and the try for the begging for the chasers. But you're right, O'Brien couldn't find the thread the needle there and get the ball through.
Ellis from dummy half helping it on again as Featherstone look to bully their way forward. Big drive by Steve Crossley. Once of this parish, of course, former Dewsbury man. Finn slides it through, chased hard, covered by the fullback Craven, whose hands were safe enough. Dewsbury safely back in possession, but look how much yardage they have to make up now. Deep inside their own half. Featherstone looking to turn the screw. Here comes Price. Big drive forward.
Good D.
O'Brien was the man at dummy half again. Here's Donaldson running it down that blind side.
He'd be really happy for the workout. One of James Donaldson. He's
got a penalty.
Gets himself a penalty as well.
He's a good lad.
He's a lovely lad.
I know he thinks a lot of his brother. His brother suffered a very bad accident, didn't he? And he's in a wheelchair now, a very freak accident, working on the farm up in Cumbria. So he uses him as an inspiration when he plays his rugby league. Dewsbury doing it tough here tonight. Forward.
Tough call, that one.
That was a tough call.
It's a tough call. Let's have a look.
Oh dear. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, fellas?
Flat pass that on. Play on. Play on.
Play on.
Not on. Who wants it?
Dewsbury.
That really was a test of determination.
The rugby gods played their part there,
Justice here. But I don't know about you, Brian, but I just think at the moment, Dewsbury just got a little bit more energy about them, haven't they? This is a little bit more about them.
I think they're liking the conditions better.
Yeah, I thought
Featherstone's will come to terms with that. Once they realise and their coach has a word maybe at half-time and say, listen, we may need to adjust things slightly, but they've not stopped their game plan, though, have the Dewsbury? They've had pops at the short side when you'd be tempted to stay away from the sideline. They've carried the ball really strong in the middle.
So Brian with a kick. It's being watched by Hepworth. He'll just watch it out of play.
Not a bad outcome.
Good team, but Featherstone, you just can't rely on the weather. You just can't rely on the fact they're going to be in the right part of the field.
You know yourself, Brian. Like, you know, I mean, it's 12-6. Featherstone got plenty of arsenal in the artillery there to come and hurt you. You know what I mean? It's a long go, but Dewsbury playing the game in the right field position at the moment. You know, and again, like I said, their energy and enthusiasm is showing.
Well, they're going to kick early. Try and get it downfield as quickly as possible, but Craven picks up. Chase is not really
I like this kid. I like this kid.
He goes all right, doesn't he?
Yeah, I like him. Got good feet, good turn of pace. Chimes in out the back well. Another penalty. Offside.
And that's the one thing that you can't do. When coaches talk about discipline, in a tight game, in a game that's strewn with errors because of the conditions, what you don't want to do is reinforce the fact that you've lost the ball by giving a penalty away.
Here's Gallagher putting his head down and driving it forward. It's O'Brien who waits at dummy half. Spaven across the line. He brings his runners on. Featherstone hanging on. O'Brien. Brown walking it on. Asking too much of the pass. Hale has spilt it.
Pressure pass out there for Brown.
The one tip I would make, and Andrew might be able to reinforce this, is in these conditions, probably a second earlier rather than a second later at the line. Give yourself a little bit more opportunity to gather the ball in, and rather than pressurise the pass.
Play pressure pass there. You know, he's took it to the line, as Brian said there. And the Featherstone defensive line was right up in the face of Hale, so it made it real tough there for him to catch that ball.
There's Hepworth, John Hepworth. Dewsbury dashing back into position. Open on that far side. So it was Bussy, the man who was tackled, and an arm in there. Well, he's making his presence felt tonight, isn't he, Thierry Alibert? We know he's on that field.
I like his uniform.
Daryl Powell will be a little concerned. Only half an hour played, though, and his side only trail by 6. Here's Ellis, the acting half. On this line it comes again, and Crossley trying to push forward, trying to get the arm free as well if he could offload, but he can't. So Ellis stands and waits again. Oh, the ball's gone free. Featherstone man looked up as if to say, what happened there? The referee has a think about it, and then he gives the penalty Featherstone's way. Ball steal, he's decided.
I think he made that call up. And that's not being disrespectful, that's not saying anything, but I think the Dewsbury players are tackling the ball. What I mean by that is they're trying to lock onto the ball to stop Featherstone moving it.
Here's Briggs. Attracting defenders to him as he takes it to within 15 metres of that Dewsbury line. Just over half an hour played. And Featherstone edging closer. Back it comes to Lamont Bryan with a little skip in his step as he tries to hit that line as hard as he can.
It's been a handful tonight, Brian, when he's carried the football. He's got a lot of punch, getting his nose through.
Finn with a kick. It took a deflection off of a Dewsbury player. It's still free. It's bouncing all over the place. Who wants this ball? It's a bar of soap at the moment. How many knock-ons? How many knock-ons? And it's Dewsbury's head and feet at the end of all of that.
Oh, that was a comedy of errors that there. Kick deflected. Finn tries to needle it through, which he's done ever so well this evening. Most of his kicks have been able to get through the line, but on that occasion, he couldn't get it through. Took a ricochet, and then the Dewsbury player couldn't deal with it.
Didn't the Dewsbury bloke knock on? They got the head and feet, Dewsbury.
They did get it.
That's a good drive. That's a really, really good carry. Still going. And a real determination about this Dewsbury forward pack at the moment.
Carrying the ball tough in the middle.
They are.
O'Brien again. Another big drive, 3 drives, and he's taken them up to the 40-metre mark. O'Brien. Now it's going to be another kick from Price. Hepworth has it covered. Oh! Well, that went backwards, surely. Yes, it did. So he's got away with that one. Tries to stand up Aaron Brown, who just about keeps his feet and makes the tackle.
I've been impressed with both the impact from Tommy Gallagher and Lillycrop as well, coming off the bench for Dewsbury. I think they've really added some impetus to the go forward for Dewsbury this evening.
What about Carl Price kicking game?
He has a cannon of a boot. He's never been utilised at most of the places that he's been throughout his career. There's another error from the Featherstone player. Brian, who's got a great game so far, but that won't help his team. But Carl Price can whack a ball.
Well, he's normally a wide player, isn't he? So he maybe doesn't get the chance to do that as often in the past. It's a man short in the scrum for Featherstone. So Lamont Bryan just jogging up there.
Good shot out there, wasn't it?
It's a tough night, isn't it? It's a really, really tough night.
Good contact, Briggs, and Bryan over the top.
Price muscling it forward. This now is O'Brien. Who wants this one? Who's going to have a run this time? They're going to go left. Spavin drops it back in again. And another big collision down the middle. It's O'Brien. Taken on. A stride or two by Gallagher. The ball's kept alive. Donaldson feeding it back towards the middle. A step by Brown. It's lost. O'Brien tries to get hold of it, but it's Featherstone hands that get it. It's gone free again. And not for the first time tonight. The referee says we'll take the first knock on in that sequence. He nearly knocked.
I saw that.
Head off there as well.
He was coming elbow to the nose.
What's that game on the ice where the things ricochet at each other?
Ice hockey.
No, the one with it on the knees and they throw it down the line, down the channel.
Oh, they
curling or something.
They do that. And they move left to right, don't they? Sweep it through. Yeah. Oh.
There's another one. That's what I'm saying. The way the ball's knocking around here. Play on.
What are you on about, by the way?
He's on the game of curling where it ricochets into 5 or 6 different balls.
Right.
You know, things when you're trying to get... Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. None of the rest of the world doesn't, but I do.
I know the game. And they sweep like that, don't they? They make it move down the line.
Yeah. That's because of your Scottish heritage, you see. So I think they're the world champions. Curling.
Just watch a lot of telly.
Curling.
Brian Noble, tested on animals. They couldn't tell what he was saying either. Dewsbury, back down the middle here, moving it left. Here comes Craven, into the line from fullback, 20 metres away. It's a mud, blood and thunder night. And it's Dewsbury who are launching the challenge at the moment. Lillycrop again.
Lillycrop, mate. Lillycrop. Yeah, he's done well tonight.
Here's O'Brien. The man at dummy half back, it comes to Brown. Brown throws it out to this right-hand side and Hale tries to step in, but there are a couple of defenders there, Briggs and Lamont Bryan. So this now is the final tackle, the last one in the set. Picked up by Brown. Dabs it through once more.
That's a great kick.
And they're in for a try. They're in for a try, and Scott Spavin was the man who got there. Well, that did bob and weave and ricochet all over the place. And Spavin had one thing on his mind, follow that ball. I don't think it was Spavin, was it, actually? There it bounces. Well, Spavin's second man in.
Dale Morton, I think it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Dale Morton is the man who scores a try. Apologises to him, but it's another Dewsbury try, and how impressive is this performance turning into now, 4 minutes before half-time?
Well, the kick was first class. If we saw a goal kick that was a late swing or a reverse swing, that was an off break, leg break, because it turned and it bent around the post. It was hard to defend, and it was a great chase from the Dewsbury players, and Morton thoroughly deserved of the try.
Good to see, because like I said, their last play options and outcomes haven't been the best up till that point, so it was nice to see Brown jump out and thread it through, and fantastic kick chase as well from Morton and Spavin, and Morton finishes it off.
Right in front of the sticks, he's not going to miss that. Over it goes, 3 out of 3, 18 points to 6.
Well, who would have thought this, boys?
Lead, yeah.
Who would have thought this, eh?
Well, what I will say is I think they deserved of their lead.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Don't doubt that for a second.
I remember you saying in the build-up to that first try in the 14th minute, Andrew, I think this is the first set of 6 they've started in their opponent's half.
Correct.
I don't think they've been outside their opponent's half since, have they?
No, that's right. I think Featherstone have had one penalty where they took a tap on the halfway and dropped it, I think, on play 2. Oh, no. Oh, he's played off.
He's played off.
Controversial.
How is that not a knock-on, by the way?
What's he doing here?
Who knows?
What's happening here?
I think what's he saying?
I don't know what he's saying.
Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Dale Morton having scored a try and kicked a goal, and then at the other end...
Well, why has he stopped play here? I don't understand.
Oh, actually, full marks to the referee, who got it absolutely spot on.
He has actually, you're right.
We're the ones with egg on our faces. Thierry Alibert got that absolutely spot on.
Absolutely, you're right. What's he stopped play for? I don't understand why his play stopped.
I think he wants us all to have a chance to have a look.
Video ref, he's asked the video ref, is he?
Yeah.
Ah, right. Steve Ganson's going to judge here on whether this should be a
Tackle 1.
Yeah, Steve Ganson was deciding there as to whether he had got it right. Thierry Alibert did get it absolutely spot on.
Well, that's great referee.
Oh, now he's gone free.
No.
Well, it doesn't take long on a night like this. The ball to come squeezing free from somebody's hands.
This is a massive set now before half-time. You know, Dewsbury are in such a great position. 18-6 up. They would hate to concede right here at half-time, but a fantastic opportunity now presents itself for Featherstone.
So Dewsbury looking to keep them out. Featherstone looking as if they might have a chance here to put themselves right back in this game. It's taken on by Lamont Bryan.
Oh, good hands.
Good hands by him. And the offload. It's gone to ground, but it's gone backwards. Defenders coming rushing out. It was Gallagher who got there to make the thumping challenge. Featherstone still within range, though. Dummies thrown and shoulders put into the job. Dewsbury defenders hanging on. Featherstone looking to make this breakthrough. Behind the back of Finn, it was a poor pass. Picked up by Lamont Bryan to try and correct the position. That's 4 gone, 2 to go. Can Featherstone make the breakthrough? Can Dewsbury hang on? Here comes Finn again. Short and flat this time for Crossley to try and force his way through. Here's Ellis. Ellis to the left-hand side. Finn puts a foot on the ball and a sliding, covering grasp from Dewsbury. It will be taken into the in-goal area. Good effort from Hale to get there, but he slid into the in-goal area, so a drop out underneath the sticks.
One set for Dewsbury if they can manage it. This will be tough. They've defended really well there, and they're 18-6. They know they've got the impetus. They know they've got the desire and the belief. They're just there. We can get to half-time with this kind of lead against Featherstone. We're doing exceptionally well.
Thinking about the warmth of the dressing room and thinking about the fact in the second half they're playing downhill with the wind and rain at their backs. Featherstone want to give themselves a platform for recovery. 5 tackles to go here. On by Steve Crossley. Good drive by him. 4 tackles to go. Plenty of time to get through this set. Time's not an issue in this set of 6 tackles. It's a question of what they can do with it in attack and defence. Here's Ellis, left to Finn. Finn tries to go himself. He's put down. 2 tackles to go. The defending is immense. Left once more, little step back on the inside. Lamont Bryan trying to force his way over. Look how many defenders are there. And they managed to put him down short of the line. So this is it. Last real attack of this half. Ellis throws it out to this left-hand side. Dab through again. They'll be looking for the in-goal area. They've found the dead ball. Hacked away by Dewsbury feet.
2 tackles, do you think? 2 tackles? 10 seconds?
If that.
Clock's still running.
Well, he's not stopped the clock yet.
No, he hasn't.
Clock still coming down. He's still not stopped the clock.
He hasn't stopped the clock.
Now he's stopped the clock, but no, he's not. He's signalling the Hooters sound. Dewsbury have got away with that. Some immense defending, but what a 40 minutes of rugby league that was,
Well,
eh?
the first 10 minutes I thought Featherstone were going to romp away with this one, but hey, what do I know? Dewsbury been the better team for the last 30 minutes. They got to the right end of the field, and what they've done is taken their opportunities. They're worthy winners at half-time.